Well, good morning from a relatively sunny Ludlow. Here we are, just rubbing my hands together and finding my centre. Just checking in with myself. Breathing gently in through the nose. Tongue up on the upper palate, just behind the ridge, behind the teeth. And out. In and out. You can also hum whilst you're doing this. Just a light hum, don't worry about the sound too much. Just a small N. Don't worry about the pitch or anything like that. It's not important. So you might think that it looks a little bit council estate, doesn't it? But that's my space in the morning. It's about it's about 6:45 at the moment. Doing the auditory afterwards because there's a lot of other noises, trains going by, etc., etc. So I'm just checking in with my breath, really, just getting things warmed up in that sense. Starting to make the breaths a little bit bigger now. I'm still not pulling in too much breath or pushing out too much breath. It's still a relatively gentle one. I'm just slowly but surely stretching the back and the lungs and the ribs. So we go in breath and out. Gather, in breath and out. In breath and out. In, all the way up and release. So try not to hold anywhere. That's the key. Try and find a sort of a pulse, a wave, if you like, of breath. It's my new Autumn Tears top that arrived yesterday with all the vinyl. And here we are, reversal. In and out. In and out. There we go, and out. The only thing is, when you're teaching, you tend to forget how many you've done, and especially if you get caught up with the actual exercise itself, you think, oh, how many have I done? Yeah, so I usually try and do about 8 of these or so. Don't worry about the actual counts. Now here I'm breathing in, still breathing in, isolating parts of my rib cage, each side really, just adding and adding and adding, and then release. So a little mantra I have going on there, and I'll tell you that in a second because there's a bit more to it. And then just gently stretching down, pushing out the back and stretching the legs. Go. Bloody hood keeps falling on my face, on my head. Never mind. Up, breathing in, big breath in, big breath in, big breath in. And my little mantra is, I'm healthy, happy, strong, calm, and relaxed as I release down. I didn't make it up. Somebody else taught me that one. And then full rolling the spine. Just go down as far as is comfortable, and then pushing on the knees again, straightening the back. and the legs. And then gather again. Up we go. One big breath, this, all the way up. Keep breathing in, keep topping up. Happy, healthy, strong, calm. All those top up breaths, and release on the relaxed. Going down again. Rolling the spine. I'm not pushing or pulling down there, I'm just going as far as my spine wants to go and my legs want to go. Just getting a little bit further every time. Gathering, breathing in, another big breath in, keep breathing in, fill the back, fill the sides, each individual side, top up. If you need to, top up through your mouth. And relax. Happy, healthy, strong, calm, and relaxed. Okay, just go into a nice easy stance now. It's just another few ins and outs. Starting to get the body gently warmed up. This is the warm-up, by the way. This is preparation for Qigong, but it's also Qigong. It's still all energy work. Just opening up all the channels. Oh, that's where I had to stop to go and feed the blackbird, so there's a bit of a cut there. Now when you rub your hands together, get everything wobbling. It's great. Just get your backside, your legs, your arms, your chest, your tummy. Just get everything wobbling. Use your whole core to rub your hands together. Don't just use your arms. And then we're just going to place those hands over our face and our eyes, and then over the top of our head and down the back of the neck. Past the big muscles at the side, the sternocleidomastoids, and out. Do this usually just to release any sort of too much energy in the head, being too uptight, too much thinking, too much worrying, whatever. Just helps to bring that energy down and away from the head. Also feels quite nice. I'll give it a little wriggle, a little shake. I think I've just seen my friend the blackbird there, so I'm not blowing kisses at you, I'm actually whistling, having a conversation with the blackbird. So just shake the wrists out, using the elbows and the shoulders. See if you can put your mind into your elbows and release your hands and your fingers. And doing a little bounce, bouncing up and down. Getting things warmed up. Right, and now we're going to flex the fingers. Now what I do here is I tend to mentally think in how many breaths, 5, 6, and then release, and I usually say it in a sort of whisper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Excuse me, 10. 1, 2, that sort of thing. Don't try and compete with the clock when you're doing that sort of timing. Just feel your body's rhythm. So you might breathe in for 6, you might breathe in for 5 or 4 or 8, whatever's comfortable, and then out and say 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., etc., until you don't go all the way to 7, 8, 12, 25 and feel like you're pushing the air out. Just wait for a natural pause and then let the breath back in onto, mentally counting 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., etc. And then throw those fingers out and then shake them off, because you probably feel that. The thing is with the hands and the fingers, it's a start of most of the channels, like the feet, like reflexology, but the start of most of the channels are in the hands as well as the feet. Okay, now we're just rolling the wrist. Do this slowly if you're not used to it. Interlace the fingers and just do a little roll. Go as slowly as you want. Find your own rhythm, and then the other way. And then what I do is I change the interlacing of the fingers. So if I've got my right index finger above my left index finger, I swap it so that my left index finger is above my right. Sort of changes the dynamic a little bit. It's a bit like trying to wash your hands the other way around. I'm still breathing here, always thinking in and out. Okay, now press my hands together and I'm just flexing the forearms here as well as the wrists, as you can see. Just find your own rhythm of your blackbird again, and then fingers are just stretching out, pushing them together like springs until they meet the palms and the base of the hand. It's like two squids mating or something, whatever you see there. And again, the fingers are a bit spread and just pointing them down and back up again around the chest area. And then I do all the finger points, the fingertips, and the first set of pads, and the second set of pads, segments, third, until I get to the hand, and doing all that with the thumb backwards and forwards. And then I squeeze my thumbs, and I go into quite a big breathing in and going all the way down gently. And then breathe and out, and then back in and out, in and exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. I think I need a longer top or taller trousers. I'm not entirely sure which. Sorry about that. And just hold for a second, feel all the muscles in your buttocks and your legs, and then come back to a nice easy stance and absorb and release. Okay, now the elbows. No specific pattern to this. I'm just revolving the elbows, putting my mind to release the elbows really as I turn them. So there's no tension there other than the retention that it takes to move the arms, really. But we're releasing thoughts into the elbows, just oiling all the joints. That's what this is all about. Except when the blackbird appears. Tries to distract me. breathing out. Thoughts of mind in the elbows. Doesn't look like it, but it is. Just moving the shoulders a little bit. And Sally, you know this one, rolling the scapula, rolling the shoulder blades back, turning. It's almost like you wouldn't believe it, but to look at me, but it's, my mind pattern is that of a dolphin, sort of, or a snake if you prefer. Just moving the spine. And rolling the shoulders back and forth. Big circle really. And the other way. About 18 times each direction. That's me indicating the chin. It's like rolling a golf ball up your chest. Or if you prefer, an upside down spoon gathering peas off a plate, a funny plate or a bowl. Breathe in and release, 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 in, release. I'm also moving my tongue in the same direction in my mouth, which is why it looks like I'm puckering up. But looks like some sort of crazy sort of East German bow. I don't know. Obviously we're going the opposite way now. Just feel just feel the cervical spine, just feel the neck and all the joints of the neck, the spine, the cervical spine moving. Try not to get too tense with this. Eventually you'll sort of feel that the top part of the spine will join with the middle part of the spine. Okay, what I'm doing there is I'm not shoving the head, I'm letting the head try and just flop to one side. It's harder than it looks. Yeah. Just releasing those muscles as much as I possibly can. Just seeing what I can release. That's me saying hi to the blackbird, just in case you think I'm having a fit. Pointing at his food. A few raisins there. Thanks to Caroline for the subtitles. She knows I'm crazy, but she doesn't necessarily want everybody else to know it. There you go. All right, and so now we're going to do a little bit of what looks like swimming, or picking up a tin behind me and shoving it forward from a shelf. Whatever you want to do, but just notice that the hips go back, and I breathe in and I push out. Breathe in and out and out. So bring the fist in now. There you go. Either way, you don't need the fist, but It's a good turn, good for the spine, good for the hips. And then we're going to go over. Not quite too, not so high with the shoulder blade, but you're just watching the back of your hand. It just comes level with your eyes roughly. Breathe in, out, breathe in, out, breathe in, out, breathe in, out, breathe in. Let your eyes follow your hand. And turn the shoulder blade. Just getting a bit of blood flow to the chest and to the back. And we swap. Also good for turning the spine. Good for those deep muscles. Interior and exterior intercostals, external obliques, transverse abdominis, blah blah blah. Okay, now we're going to just do a little knocking on the door of life. Just let the back hand hit the small of your back. And you just notice you're just turning your hips back, 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 and letting your arms just be as easy as they possibly can. And let them hit the body, let them hit the torso. Look behind you, use your eyes. Just going to turn around. That was very ungainly, but I'm turning around to show you. I'm just letting the back, hands just hit the back and the kidneys. You've got about 4 sheets of muscle between your skin and the kidneys, so don't worry about hurting them. You're not going to knock them that hard, but it's good for the lung channels. And then I'm going up to the front lung channel there, just under the shoulder. There's a little pocket just there. Just beat your breast, you know, your chest, your pecs. But there's a little pocket just under the shoulder, which is where I'm aiming, a little crease. Still moving back. Still hitting the back as well. Breathe in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Now notice my feet now. I'm getting a bit longer, bit further out. And so rather than letting my knees take the brunt of it, I'm letting my legs pop out there. It's quite a big twist. And I think we're just going to slow it back down again, back to the chest. Yep. Not as much of a turn, slowing it down now. Okay, now you can sort of not lock, but keep your hips, less of a turn on the hips, and it's more of a spinal turn this time. So it's hard because the hips still want to join in, but which is fine. But just take it easy. See if you can just try and find another word of hold or lock your hips. Is it warm enough to take the top off? Nah, we'll leave it on. Okay. So there we go, and we're going to go down. Relatively wide stance. I'm just going to hang, and then you bring your arms up. So you follow your body. So you go down almost like you're doing a big chopping action. We go down first, and then follow the body up, breathing in, down, out, up, breathe in, up, breathe in, swing down, up, bring in, swing down, up, breathe in, swing down, up, bring in, breathe in, swing down, breathe in and out, in and out. So follow the curves of your body going up. Starts with the legs, then the hips and the spine, until you reach the head and the arms. And release. So when I remember, I'm trying to do a mirror image for you. So that would be your right, and we started on your left. So that's why there's a bit of an error, because I usually start on my left. But hey, what we're doing now is gently turn. So the 6 directions of the spine: backwards, forwards, the twist, and side to side. So, and obviously we're doing side to side now. Just looking up slightly to my elbow, so I don't want to lock my neck. But I'm breathing into the ribs, making it deeper each time I go. So the first time was a little bit of a bounce, because I'm just going breathing in gently. And then on these longer, deeper breaths, my God, it looks like I've got a pot belly there. Ridiculous. A little bit further around now. Let that belly show. That's it. So a bit of more of a turn in the spine, going a bit further now around. So yeah, as I indicate, just lengthening that part of the rib cage. Breathing in that one. Right, another one. So join the fingers, point the finger at sky, and just lean over. Mindful of your hips, so you don't pop your hips out too far the other on that lean. It's more about lengthening the body. Lengthen the body. That's it. I'm breathing in on the lean. In and out. In and out. Okay, and then I change the hands. So the fingers have been changing, and now it's pushing one hand into the other. Okay, this is something called gazing at the moon, or in modern terms, taking a selfie. There's a more in-depth way of looking at this one as well, apart from the torso twist, which is good for the spine. But you can think about twisting in different parts of your body, i.e. from the hips from the column of the body, from the spine, and also from the little, what they call the bubbling well, which is between the two pads at the front of the foot. And the trick is to imagine you've got two very shiny nails going through that point of your foot, sort of the balls of your feet, right in the center between the two pads, and turning on those. But that's for another day, I think. Okay, now doing a little hip swivel there. Just make sure it's as round as you can make it. Again, try not to pop your hips out the side. Just feel the motion of the joints. Breathing out, just find your own rhythm, but this is a little bit of a quicker breath for me. I do in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, sort of thing. And I usually count, but don't worry about that. About 18 times. This is definitely not for public consumption, so I might have to pay you guys not to share this, please. Okay, this is where I try not to kick any stones into the car or into the window of the back door. But just gently getting the leg to sway, getting the hip moving, thighs and knees, thinking about hip, thigh, knee, calf, ankle and foot. Well, it doesn't look like it, but I am. It's mainly to get these sort of inguinal joints and hips sort of oiled and lubricated and moving. I suppose the SI joint as well. Don't go too high, just go as high as your leg wants to go. If you notice, my right one tends to go a little bit further up than my left. That's just me. And this is a swivel. If you feel it cricking and cracking, then you're going too high. Just go with the joint. Goes down. So we're just opening up the inguinal joints there. You don't feel you need to do it on one leg. Sometimes I lose my balance as well. I mean, I do usually do 18, but just start with, however, 6, 8, until you get the motion. You can do it the opposite way as well, but I didn't feel like it today, so I didn't. Okay, so the knees. Okay, what we're going to do is going to go around, but I'm going to let my ankles and my feet move as well. They're not locked. I'm not pushing too much weight down on my knees from my hands. My bottom's sort of sunk. And I'm sort of moving my hips to move my knees, and my ankles and my feet are joining in too, so that there's no pressure, undue pressure on the knees. And then I push back until the kneecaps release a little bit. And then for this, just there's what they call a physical feeble fallacy that from modern doctors who say you shouldn't put your knees over your toes. You can, of course you can. We do it all the time when we walk upstairs, and other cultures do it. But they do it because most people aren't physically able to do it. And if you go straight into something like that, then you probably will do yourself some damage. But you're fit people. just let your body be a gauge. I'm pushing my bottom down, well, not pushing, letting the weight take my bottom down to my heels when I do that. And then my hands are going the other way, so my thumbs at the side of my legs. I'm just raising my heels a bit on the gravel there, because I'm going to do some crouches. Now I'm turning my pelvis as I move up and down as well. I'm not just shoving up and down from my knees. My hands are there as extra sort of security, but I'm actually turning my pelvis up and down almost to help up and down movement. And my feet are together. They're also helping with this movement, and my knees relative together. I do that well, to be fair, I do that quite a few times, but today is just 36, but just go to 18 until you feel comfortable, or whatever you feel comfortable with. That's the main thing. It's not a competition, it's an assist to get everything working. And find a comfortable way of breathing. I tend to think about, in a weird way as I am, I tend to think about breathing in my sacrum, either going up, depends on the day, but either going up or down, and then breathe out on the up or breathe out on the down. But just find your own rhythm, that's the main thing. It's still all about the breathing. That's what Qigong is. Qi, energy, breath work. It's a combination. Okay, so I'm going to just roll my ankles now, roll my feet. So what I'm trying to indicate there is go as high up as is comfortable. Yeah, so my hands showing the direction that my feet are supposed to be going in. Yeah, they are. That's all right. So pretty good for balance as well. 18 one way, 18 the other. Don't be worried about hanging on to each other or scappa or the van or anything nearby. A passerby probably wouldn't thank you for it, but yeah, just if you feel you need to hang on to something just to assist the balance, then do so. No falling over, please. Okay, we're nearly there. This is just again, just a gentle kick, slow kick out. Thinking thigh, knee, calf, foot. Yeah, you can put your foot all the way down again. You can actually incorporate a little calf stretch with that one if you wanted to. If you're feeling fabulous about your balance, you don't even have to put your foot down. You just let it swing behind you and push out. Do a back kick. So start fairly low there. I think my left leg's upset because I usually start with that one. But as I said, I'm being your mirror when I remember to be your mirror. So when you've had far too much delicious French cheese and delicious French wine, cider, Calvados, etc., 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 then you can just do this little 45-minute workout. It should, in theory, fill you full of energy. Just finishing off the breathing now. I'm just doing a little upper chest stretch there for you, just opening up, in breathing in. This is bizarrely enough, it's called spine breathing. I know physiologically we don't have any lungs in our spine, but our whole body breathes. It's all involved with the breathing mechanism. So just turning around just to show you a little bit more of an angle. So I curve the spine and then bend out. Just bend back as far as is comfortable for you. And then curve round, breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. It's not a competition though, Sally, so don't try and do the limbo. Okay, just a little knocking now. Get those energies knocking on the breastbone. And just between the cartilaginous sort of connections of the ribs and the sternum. And then in the pocket, and then we're going to go down the arms, on the inside of the arms to the wrists and back up the outside of the arms, knocking the top of the shoulder and then the middle of the trapezius. So usually try and do this about 3 times. Just breathe easy, keep breathing. I think that was a mad bird again. Knocking on the chest. Big yawn, big breath. There we go. This just wakes up the whole system as well. Just gets the energy flowing. Didn't realise quite how fast I got at this. It looks like it's speeded up, but it isn't. Note to self, I think I need to slow things down. No, it's just the bottom of the ribs. Yeah, bottom of the rib cage. Not on the fleshy bit, on the bony bit. And then the back. Obviously. Up and down by the spine. Soft hands. Just knocking against there. Yep, all the way up and down, hit the bottom, and then down the back of the legs, the back of the knees. There's a point there just by the side of the calves and the knee, the top there. It's a really good point. Can be a bit tender, so go gently. And the hips, and then back down the butt, the back of the legs, back of the knees, sides of the knees, down the calves, down the side, on the feet. Come back up. It's not so bad for the girls, but be careful as you come up, Ian. So We don't want any accidents. And there we go, and blow it out. And then we're just going to clear. Breathing in, absorb, and release. Anything that doesn't serve us, we just get rid of. Bring in fresh. Release stale and old. However many times, 6 times, 8 times, and then we'll bring our feet together. Just make sure, and this just sort of helps the energy. Again, another deeper cleanse. One hand over the other, top of the crown, not touching the body, just through. Breathing in and releasing, almost like a little scanner for yourself. And then we finish. Closing, 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 closing. And that's a little bow for you guys. So right hand over left for blokes, left hand over right for women. I don't really think it matters all that much, but there you go. And then clockwise 8 times and anti-clockwise 8 times. And that is it. Step back and go and enjoy your breakfast. See you soon.